The rain had just started to fall when she saw it. A worn-out leather wallet lay on the sidewalk, half-soaked, abandoned like everything else the world seemed to forget. People rushed past, heads down, umbrellas up, too busy to notice. But she noticed. Because when you have nothing, you learn to notice everything. She picked it up slowly, her hands trembling, not from the cold, but from the weight of what it could mean. Inside that wallet was more than money. It was a choice. And what she did next, no one could have expected. Before we continue, if stories like this touch your heart, take a moment to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Welcome to Kindness Story Hub, where real stories remind us that even the smallest act of kindness can change everything. Her name was Linda. Most people didn't know her name. To them, she was just the homeless woman by the bus stop. She had been living on the streets of a small American city for nearly 3 years. Life hadn't always been this way. She once had a job, a small apartment, even a dog she loved dearly. But a series of unfortunate events, job loss, medical bills, and eviction, had pushed her into a life she never imagined. Every day was a struggle. Some days she went hungry. Some nights she barely slept. Yet, somehow, she held on to one thing that many people in better circumstances had lost, her sense of right and wrong. That rainy afternoon, as she stood under the flickering bus stop light, Linda opened the wallet carefully. Inside, she found several credit cards, a driver's license, and a thick stack of cash, more money than she had seen in years. Her breath caught in her throat. For a moment, time stood still. Her mind raced. This could change everything, she whispered to herself. She could buy food, warm clothes, maybe even a motel room for a few nights. For someone in her position, this wasn't just money, it was survival. But then she looked at the driver's license. A man stared back at her from the photo. His name was Michael Harris. He looked like an ordinary man, maybe a father, maybe a husband. Someone who was probably panicking right now, retracing his steps, worried sick about what he had lost. Linda closed her eyes. She knew what it felt like to lose everything. And that's when she made her decision. She wasn't going to keep it. The address on the license was only a few miles away, but for Linda, it might as well have been across the country. She didn't have a car. She didn't even have proper shoes for the long walk ahead. Still, she started walking. The rain got heavier. Her clothes clung to her skin, and the cold wind bit through her thin jacket. People passed her on the street, some glancing at her with pity, others avoiding eye contact entirely. But Linda kept going. Step by step. Block by block. Because sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. And for Linda, it was physically exhausting. After nearly an hour, she finally reached the neighborhood. It was quiet. Clean. The kind of place she hadn't been part of in a long time. Houses stood neatly in rows, with warm lights glowing from inside. She found the address. Her heart pounded as she walked up to the front door. For a moment, she hesitated. What if they don't believe me, she thought. What if they think I stole it? But she took a deep breath and knocked anyway. Inside the house, Michael Harris was pacing back and forth, his face pale with worry. His wife sat on the couch, trying to calm him down. It has everything in it, he said, running a hand through his hair. My cards, my ID, even the cash I just withdrew. A knock on the door interrupted him. They both froze. Michael walked cautiously to the door and opened it. Standing there was Linda, soaked, tired, and clearly out of place in that neighborhood. "Yes," he said, unsure. Linda held out the wallet. "Is this yours?" Michael stared at it, his eyes widening. He grabbed it quickly and opened it, checking the contents. Everything was there. Every single dollar. Every card. Nothing was missing. He looked back at Linda, stunned. You found this?" he asked. She nodded. "I thought you might need it," she said softly. For a moment, there was silence. Then Michael did something unexpected. He stepped forward and hugged her. Linda stiffened at first. It had been a long time since anyone had hugged her. But then she slowly relaxed, tears welling up in her eyes. "Thank you," Michael said, his voice breaking. "You have no idea what this means to me." His wife came to the door, equally shocked and grateful. "Please, come inside," she said gently. Linda hesitated, glancing down at her wet clothes. "I don't want to make a mess," she said. "You're not a mess," the woman replied. "You're a blessing." Inside, they gave Linda a towel, a warm drink, and something to eat. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen. Not judged. Not ignored. Seen. Michael couldn't stop thanking her. "I was sure it was gone," he said. "Most people, they wouldn't have returned it." Linda shrugged slightly. "It wasn't mine to keep." What happened next is what turned this moment into something that would soon go viral. Michael, still overwhelmed, decided to share Linda's story online. He posted a photo of her, with her permission, along with the story of how she returned his wallet without taking a single dollar. He wrote about her honesty, her kindness, her strength. Within hours, the post began to spread. Thousands of people shared it. Then tens of thousands. Comments poured in from across the country. "This restored my faith in humanity. Someone help this woman. She deserves the world." People were moved by Linda's selfless act. In a world often filled with bad news, her story was a reminder that goodness still exists, even in the most unexpected places. Then something incredible happened. A stranger started a fundraiser for Linda. At first, the goal was modest, just enough to get her off the streets for a while. But as the story continued to spread, donations kept coming in. $10. $50. $100. Within days, the total reached thousands of dollars. Then tens of thousands. People who had never met Linda wanted to help her, simply because she had shown kindness when she had every reason not to. Michael and his wife stayed in touch with her, helping her navigate the sudden attention and support. They helped her find temporary housing. They connected her with local services. And slowly, step by step, Linda's life began to change. But here's the most powerful part of the story. Even after everything she had been given, Linda didn't change who she was. She remained humble, grateful, kind. When asked why she returned the wallet, she gave a simple answer. Because it was the right thing to do. Not for recognition. Not for reward. Just because it was right. Her story spread across news outlets and social media platforms. People called her a hero, an inspiration. But Linda didn't see herself that way. She was just someone who made a choice. A choice that anyone could make. And that's what makes this story so powerful. Kindness isn't about how much you have. It's about what you choose to do with what you have. Linda had almost nothing. Yet she gave everything she could in that moment, her honesty, her effort, her time. And in return, the world gave back to her in ways she never imagined. So the next time you find yourself at a crossroads, faced with a choice between what's easy and what's right, remember Linda. Remember that even the smallest act of kindness can create a ripple effect far beyond what you can see. Because somewhere out there, someone is waiting for a reason to believe in goodness again. And that reason could be you. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Story Hub, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever witnessed or experienced an act of kindness that changed your life? Let's spread more stories that remind us of the good in the world. Because kindness is contagious. And together, we can make it go viral.